Hey guys, Gordon Hollings here again. Today we are going to look at some problem solving, some minor problems or issue you will face during work, and I'm going to show you the tools I'm bringing to work so that we can make some small repairs along the way, so we don't have to call out a mechanic and wait for the mechanic. So let's have a look at the tools and the stuff I'm bringing to work. I have a plier, a monkey wrench, a screwdriver, knife, hose clamps, this little pipe, and stripes. And I'm going to show you what I use these tools for. So one of the most common problems that you will definitely face sometime is that you are leaking air from the air hoses, and what usually happens is these hoses get worn out, so they get cracked and it's starting to leak out air from here. So this is very easy fix by yourself. So what we do is we open up the hose clamp, we pull the hose off, we open up the hose clamp a little bit more, and then we slide the hose clamp up a little bit on the hose. Then we cut off the damaged part of the hose. We then put the hose back on the pneumatic. And we are tightening up the hose clamp again. So we got this repaired in just 2 minutes. So I think it would be really silly to call out a mechanic to repair this for us. And remember, if you need to repair both hoses, it's very important that you put them back in the right place. Because this is the supply air hose and this is the maneuver air hose. There's no danger if you accidentally put them in the wrong place, because you are going to notice when you put the pneumatic back into the truck that you won't get any air into the system in the trailer, but then you're gonna have to switch them over again. So might as well do it right the first time. So usually the hose get a crack right around here, but what if we get a crack in the middle of the hose? Well, then our hose clamps and our little pipe come in handy. So if the crack is here, we cut off the hose here, and we remove the damaged part. We then slide up a hose clamp this way and another one this way. We then put the pipe in the hose on both sides and tightening up the hose clamps. And now we made a connection in the middle of the hose. So with these little small items we are going to be able to repair the air hoses, and this is going to save us a lot of time and money. We are able to repair these hoses as well, but the repair is going to be very temporary. So I would suggest replacing the air hoses as soon as possible, because these hoses are more fragile, so the repair aren't gonna last that long. And when replacing these hoses, you are going to need the monkey wrench. And now if we have a look at the electric connector, quite often people try to force the connector handle and ending up bending the pins. And if the pins are bent, you are not going to be able to connect the handle. And if you're trying to force the handle, you might end up breaking off the pins from the circuit board inside the connector. And then you're going to have to replace the whole connector. So be gentle when connecting the electric handle. And if the pins are bent, we use our plier to straighten the pins back up again. And I can see that a lot of these pins are slightly bent at the top, so I'm going to straighten up most of them. And now it slides back on easily. And now for the ABS cable. Some people seem to forget to disconnect this one before disconnecting the trailer, and you find the cables ripped out from the socket. But fortunately, this is something that we also quite easily can repair ourselves. We are going to need an extra tool for this one, and it's an adjustable plier. So we're opening up the backside here. I remove the locking nut for the cable. Then I take my screwdriver and I knock it all out from the front. And now here on the back side we have a little color guide that shows us which cable goes to which connector. There are small screws on the side that we can open up, and then we can simply thread back all the cables back into the connector again. Just follow the color guide on the top. There was actually one cable that had broken off, so I simply just peeled off the plastic layer and I connected it back to the right place again. And now we're gonna fit this back into the socket again, and it's a groove here, and as you can see inside there's a small profile, so the connector only fits one way. And when we put the back side on again, it's going to push everything inside into place, so you don't have to worry that you haven't pushed the connector in far enough. And the locking nut goes back on again, tightening it up. And the ABS cable and socket is all back together and whole again. And if you want to build a foolproof device for the ABS cable, you can attach a wire in the bottom of the lock like this, and then connect it further down the cable. And adjust the wire to be shorter than the cable. So if you try to disconnect the trailer without disconnecting the ABS cable, the cable is going to end up pulling in the wire, which is going to unlock the socket, disconnecting itself. If you're driving a Scania and your air suspension all of a sudden gets all stiff and the truck gets bouncy, it might be the stick for the cabin suspension that has come loose. So we open up the front hatch, open this, then you see this little stick right here. It's supposed to be fit into this ball joint, so we can just push this back. So this is connected in the frame and in the sensor for the cabin air suspension, and if this one comes loose, the air suspension will get filled to the maximum and you will have no suspension. It will just get raised to the maximum, and that's why the truck is getting all bouncy. Some of you might have seen the video where I had a airbag explode on the Dolly, and here my stripes comes in handy. As you can see, the airbag is completely blown out, and in the top of the airbag there's a air hose connected with constant pressure. So we're gonna have to clamp up the air hose, otherwise we will be running out of air in the system. So I make a fold on the air hose and I put 2 stripes around it, and it doesn't need to be 100% cut off, just enough so that we are not running out of air, because I also don't want to damage the air hose and connector. And now of course this is just a very temporary fix, so that we're gonna make it back home again, so that we can bring the trailer to the workshop during business hours. This happened to me in the middle of the night, and if I were to call a mechanic, this is most likely what I would ended up doing, because they don't want to replace the airbag out on the street. And that was all the repairs I can think of at the moment. So let's jump into some other general problem solving. Alright, we are going to dock into this loading bay here, and as you can see there are no lines visible here, mainly because it's dark and because the lines are worn out and it's gravel on top of the lines, and there's also it's concrete in front of the gates, so there hasn't been any tracks that you can navigate on. So we're gonna do like this. I'm gonna walk back to where the lines are supposed to be, and here I can see a glimpse of the lines through the gravel. So I put my glove on the line, and then I go and I put the other glove a bit closer to the loading bay. Right, now we have something to aim at. Just like that, easy peasy. And this one is for you guys who drives a Volvo. I noticed that a lot of people think that when the windshield wipers are standing straight up like this, it's something wrong with them, but this is actually a function. So this is a service mode, or you can use this in the winter time so that the windshield wipers don't get frozen stuck against the windshield, it's very easy to accidentally turn this mode on, because all you have to do is have the ignition on and push the windshield wiper switch up for 1 second. It turns off, push it up 1 second, and it stops straight up. So if your windshield wipers is positioned like this, just turn the ignition on, push the switch up for a second, and they're going to go down again. If you have forgot to put the leg down on the dolly and the tow bar has dropped too low to the ground, there's a couple of tricks to pick the tow bar up from the ground again. When the air leaks out from the dolly, it's usually on the front axle, but there's still going to be air in the rear axle on the dolly. So instead of trying to lift the air suspension, we are going to let the air out, lowering the dolly in the rear, which is going to make the tow bar rise up. And if we don't get the tow bar high enough, there's one more thing you can do. We can go back to the trailer and we are going to lift the air suspension on the trailer, because that's going to make the trailer move backwards a couple of centimeters, and then it's going to pull the dolly, which will make the tow bar rise a little bit more. And if there's no air left in the trailer, you are able to back up your truck, connect the air hoses and fill up the air in the trailer. So we managed to rise it a fairly decent amount up from the ground. When we are disconnecting our trailer, we always want to disconnect with the tow bar straight in reference to the coupling, because if the tow bar is turned, the pin in the coupling might get jammed stuck. But if you do need to disconnect with tow bar turned, very important that after you turn the handle to open the coupling, to follow through all the way until the pin has gone up, because even if you turn the handle to close the coupling again, the pin isn't going to be locked, and when you try to reposition, the pin is going to go up and you're going to drop the trailer. So if you do get stuck, this is how you can get loose from the trailer. We are going to lower the air suspension in the rear all the way down and then all the way up at the same time as we gently rocking the truck back and forth. You can also turn the steering wheel all the way to the left and all the way to the right. By doing this, we have moved the coupling in all possible angles, and most likely there's going to be an angle where the pin unjams itself. If we are plugging in a Reefer, a cooling unit, to electricity and it doesn't start, on some units you are able to see in the display what the problem is, and sometimes it says phase error, and then we can do a phase reversing, which is we're switching place on the phases. So we get a screwdriver and we are going to be able to turn this around. So we switch place on the phases, and now the units should start, and I actually don't really know why this is happening. So if someone is good at electricity, please explain in the comment section why this is happening. Yes guys, that was all I had to offer for today. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of great tips from you guys. So please put everything in the comment section. And I really hope that all of you would like to support me by putting a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to my channel. And as usual, feel free to put in requests on videos in the comment section or on email. And if you see me at work, please come and say hi. Please drive safe, and I see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.